The content in this video is for general educational use. It does not represent political opinions or judgments about any country, culture, or government. Information is based on publicly available sources and may be summarized or simplified. Viewers should verify details through multiple sources.
When you think of the UAE, you probably think of one thing: oil. But what if that's all about to change? What happens when a country built on oil wealth decides to bet its entire future on, well, everything but oil? That's exactly what we're digging into today, the UAE's absolutely massive overhaul of its economy.
I mean, just to wrap your head around how big of a challenge this was, take a look at this. Back in 2005, nearly 60% of Abu Dhabi's entire economy was just oil and gas. That is a huge dependency on one thing, especially something as up and down as oil prices. So this whole plan wasn't just about making more money, it was about survival, really. It was about building an economy that could stand on its own 2 feet no matter what.
So that brings us to the big question, right? How in the world do you turn a massive economic ship like that around? I mean, we're talking about pivoting an entire country's economy. It's not a switch you can just flip. It takes a really clear, long-term vision and, a ton of smart planning to actually pull it off.
Okay, so the first thing they did was draw up a blueprint. And this is key. They weren't just reacting to low oil prices or some kind of crises. This was them looking way, way down the road, proactively asking, what does the UAE look like in 20, 30, even 50 years? What's our future when oil isn't the main story anymore? And the answer they came up with was crystal clear. The goal, laid out in their big Abu Dhabi Economic Vision 2030 plan, was simple. Build an economy that's sustainable and diverse. An economy that can ride out the waves of the global market without being tied to the roller coaster of oil prices. The end game? Stability. Real long-term prosperity.
Now, if you want to attract big global players, we're talking major investment, big businesses, you need more than just a nice vision. You need a rock-solid foundation. And that brings us to the first pillar of the UAE's whole strategy: building a system built on trust and stability.
Because, let's be real, in the world of high-stakes finance, trust is everything. It's the ultimate currency. Big money isn't going to flow into a place unless investors are absolutely sure the system is stable, the rules are clear, and their investment is safe.
So how do you actually build that trust? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. It's not just talk. The Central Bank of the UAE, the CBUA, is constantly running these super in-depth checks they call thematic examinations. And look at what they're looking at: corporate governance, stress testing the banks to see if they can handle a crisis, even checking how ready they are for climate-related financial risks. This is some serious heavy-duty oversight. The goal is to make sure the entire financial system is bulletproof. And believe me, this isn't just a slap on the wrist. These rules have some serious teeth. In 2024 alone, they slapped non-compliant institutions with over 124 million dirhams in fines. That's a huge number, and it sends a really powerful message to the rest of the world. We are serious about our rules. You play by them or you pay.
Okay, so they're tough on the rules, but what's the payoff? Well, here it is. Look at these rankings. Dubai is now the 12th biggest financial center on the planet. And get this, it's 5th in the world for Fintech, and top 10 for just being a great place to do business. That's what happens when you build that bedrock of trust. The world takes notice.
But a strong foundation is just that, a foundation. You still have to build the house. And that brings us to the second pillar of their strategy: actually engineering the future of finance. They're not waiting for it to happen. They're actively designing what comes next.
And a huge piece of this puzzle is something called the digital dirham. So what is that? Basically, it's a CBDC, a central bank digital currency. The easiest way to think about it is like an official digital version of a dirham bill in your wallet, but it's issued and backed by the central bank. And just to be clear, this isn't Bitcoin or some other crypto, it's the real deal, government-backed digital cash.
Then you've got this other massive idea: open finance. This is a total game changer. The idea is to create a system where you can safely and securely let trusted apps and services access your financial data. Why would you want to do that? Well, the whole point is to kickstart a huge wave of innovation, leading to new financial tools and products that are way smarter, more efficient, and actually built around your needs.
So you might be thinking, okay, fancy tech, but why should I care? Well, this is why. The whole point of the digital dirham isn't just about making things a little faster. It's about making the whole system more efficient, bringing more people into the financial system who might have been left out, and basically turbocharging the whole digital economy. Oh, and doing it all securely. I love the analogy here. It's basically like giving the entire country's financial system a massive software upgrade.
All right, so we've got trust and we've got tech. The third pillar of this whole transformation is, well, it's maybe the most ambitious one yet. The UAE isn't just trying to be a financial hub. It's aiming to be a global leader in sustainable finance, helping to steer the world toward a green economy.
And when I say ambitious, I mean it. The numbers are just staggering. At the big COP28 climate conference, the country's banking sector pledged to mobilize 1 trillion dirhams for sustainable projects by 2030. Let me put that in perspective for you. That's more than $250 billion US. That is a massive, massive statement to the world. And you know, big promises are one thing, but the proof is in the pudding. And we can see it happening right here. Take a look at the insane growth in what are called sustainable sukuk, which are basically Islamic bonds for green projects. We're talking nearly 55% growth every single year for the past 5 years. That's not just talk, that's real money flowing into real projects, making that trillion dirham goal a reality.
What's also really smart is that they're not naive about the challenges here. They're tackling the big problem of greenwashing head on. You know, that's when a company claims an investment is green and eco-friendly, but it's really not. The regulators are putting a huge focus on making sure that when something is labeled green, it actually is green. It's all about integrity.
So, let's recap. You've got this foundation of trust, you've got this laser focus on future technology, and you've got this huge commitment to sustainability. These three things together aren't just about changing the financial industry. No, they're the launch pad for something much, much bigger.
And what's a better symbol for a launch pad than, well, an actual space program? Seriously, the UAE's investment in its space sector is the perfect example of their long-term game. They're taking the financial power they're building and plowing it into these super high-tech, brain-powered industries that are going to be the engines of their economy for decades. So, when you put it all together, what you're seeing is a country that is carefully, step-by-step, completely re-engineering its own future. It's an absolutely fascinating strategy to watch unfold, which of course leaves us with the big question. With this foundation of trust, this cutting-edge tech, and this commitment to a sustainable future all in place, what on earth comes next for the UAE's economic story?